we're going to look over some of the data here. So this is Elden Ring Nightreign Eye of the Storm infographic. This is like a bunch of stats for Nightreign that was released by Bandai Namco, I think earlier today. So this one's kind of interesting here. This is like player numbers by depth, the number of players that have reached each depth. So depth 1, 37% of players have reached depth 1. Depth 2 is 33, and then it starts dropping off pretty hardcore after that, which I understand. We've been trying to get to depth 3. We haven't even been close yet. 20% for depth 3. Only 7% for depth 4, and if you are a depth 5 player, you are the top 3% of players in Elden Ring Nightreign. So a pretty prestigious badge of honor there. Then we got favorite skins for each Nightfarer. So for the Duchess, the Darkness skin, 10.3 million have picked that skin so far. Recluse is Darkness as well, 11.2 million. Executor is Darkness as well, 8.7 million. Guardian, Dawn, 4.1 million. Some of these are surprising to me. Like, there's better skins to pick than this, but I guess maybe just more players have access to those skins and they look the coolest early on, I guess. Maybe that kind of influences a little bit. I don't know. Then we come down to Wilder, of course, Abyss Walker at 18 million. There's probably a lot more Wilder players than most other characters. Of course, Iron Eye as well would fit in that category too. This Cell Sword is a 17.3 million. Pick that one. Revenant, the Darkness skin for Revenant at 8.6 million. And then Raider with the Remembrance skin at 9.6 million. I don't even have this skin, but it looks freaking dope. I can see why they'd pick it. I run Onion Bro just because I love Onion Bro. If I had that one though, maybe I'd switch, but the nostalgia of Onion Bro is just too much for me. You know what I mean? Shared alts with other players. Oh yeah, we're gonna watch that trailer here in a minute. And then you have most used gestures. This is an interesting little thing here. So the first one is, or the number 1 is Golden Order Totality. Then you have number 2 is Spread Out, just a little snowman on the ground or whatever, just laying down. And then number 3 is Bravo. And then down here you have kind of the rest of the top 10 here. Bow is number 4. Patches Crouch is number 5. Polite Bow is number 6. Crossed Legs is number 7. Jump for Joy is number 8. Triumphant Delight number 9. And then number 10, It's Raining. So kind of interesting. People be gesturing out there. Now this is the controversial thing. This is the part I don't fully get, okay? Well, at first I didn't get it. I think I understand why this is now. But at first it was very puzzling, and I'll cover why I think it makes a little bit of sense. So this is most deadly field bosses. Number 1 is the Carrion Knight. That one kind of threw me for a loop. Would have never expect that to be number 1. P-Nice, thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. Draconic Tree Sentinel is number 2. That one can be tough. It hits really hard. I would still, if you were to like ask me blindly what I thought, not knowing any of this, I would not have picked that as number 2, but it is. Now this one's crazy. This one, I was like, what? I could not hardly believe this. Number 3 is the Erd Tree Avatar. That's freaking crazy. How is that possible? I don't get it. It just threw me for a loop when I saw that. And then all the way down at number 4 is Bellbearing Hunter. Number 5's Pot Troll. I would have thought Pot Troll would have been higher, to be honest. That's pretty crazy. This is even crazier. Oh, it just keeps getting weirder. Number 6 is Black Blade Kindred. Who's dying to Black Blade Kindred? I suck at Nightreign, and I don't even die to Black Blade Kindred. How the F is that possible? Then you got number 7, Deathrite Bird. I would have thought that would have been higher, but makes sense. Ulcerated Tree Spirit, Ulcerated Tree Spirit at number 8. That makes sense. I could see that kind of being up there. So when I first saw this, it was like crazy, right? Here's why I think it kind of makes a little bit of sense, okay? The Royal Carrion Knight and the Erd Tree Avatar, and even the Draconic Tree Sentinel to a certain degree, These are all bosses that if you see, you're probably going to go ahead and fight them as long as you're a decent level. These bosses down here, except for Blackblade Kindred, I don't understand that one at all. I can't make sense of it no matter how hard I think. But the Bell-Bearing Hunter and the Pot Trolls, these are bosses you run away from and go to easier bosses. So I think the reason that these have killed so many more players is you just have that many more players attempting them versus the harder bosses that are lower numbered, but they just don't have the opportunity to kill as many players because everybody be running away from them. You know what I mean? So, like I said, still doesn't make sense of the Blackblade Kindred. The Deathrite Bird, I would think more people would have died to too, but it does make sense for the top 3 and then 4 and 5, I think, because I think people just take these on, and so just by sheer numbers, they have the percentages on their side to kill more players. And then you see Bell-Bearing Hunter, especially if he's in the bottom of the castle, you're just running. It ends with Aki. All right, run, and he's got red eyes. Get out of here. Which is his field bosses, so it wouldn't even count anyway. But even out in the field, a lot of times you're running away from Bell-Bearing Hunter, and you're going to go towards something easier that's going to be an easy kill for some runes. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's still crazy to me, but I think some of them make a little more sense after you think about it for a minute. And then, okay, and the last part is 1.2 billion players rescued. So I probably contributed about 0.2 billion to that by dying and then letting you guys revive me. So I get props for that. It was all just to boost the numbers, obviously, throwing to get that 1.2 billion. But yeah, that's freaking that's a lot of players downed. A lot of players playing too. A lot of players playing. It's freaking crazy. Yeah, so those are some interesting Nightreign stats there. Crazy. I don't understand that last part, but it is what it is. Absolutely insane. I think it's cool that they released it though. I wish that more Souls games that From Software would do that more often with a lot of their other games, just like release data. They used to have a website that covered that. I forget the name of it. But they would release like a bunch of different public data on who died and where they died and what they died to. But they took it down for some reason and it hasn't ever came back. But I wish they would.